Alrighty, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So glad you guys could be on. Hello, everybody. Hey, Hefleys. Thank you.
Hi.
Thanks for agreeing to let us interview you tonight.
Yes.
So this is fun. Rob and Jessica are both Diamond Ambassadors with Plexus. Justin and I are both Diamond Ambassadors. And so we have like a quadruple Diamond call.
Right.
here tonight.
But Rob and Jessica are like OG. Like original. This is like original gangster diamonds here. These guys. I still remember the first Plexus event we went to. Rob sat me down out in Washington D.C. and I don't even know what you were. Maybe an emerald then. 2015.
I was an emerald, and Jessica was a diamond because I went. That's when the back office fiasco was going on.
Very pregnant.
She was 39 weeks pregnant.
So we've been rolling with these guys for a number of years. It's been a real blessing to be friends with them and to do life with them, do business with them, and I think everybody's going to be real blessed by just listening to what they have to say tonight.
Yeah, and I was just thinking back to when I started Plexus. I didn't start for a business. I simply started because I had health needs and needed to detox. I needed to get rid of, the residual effects of mold toxicity in my body. And a month in, I put our kids on the Superman probiotic, and Benjamin's eczema went away within a month. And at that point, I was like, okay, I have something that I can share. And I remember I was on Jessica Hefley's team page, seeing just some different things that she posted. I was mainly just interested in product information, but I was seeing some information about sharing. And one thing that really encouraged me that I could do this too is that she built her business primarily off of Facebook. And I'm sure she'll share a little bit more about that, but I was a mom of 5 young little kids at the time, and I was so encouraged that I didn't have to leave the house. I didn't have to go meet people and be always, out and about to work this business. And it could be something that I did from home while nursing and rocking babies, while, homeschooling my kids. And so that was just an encouragement to me. And so even though I didn't start for the products, Jessica's and Rob's story is different. And I think that's what's so cool is that you don't have to be any one type of person, or your reason for starting doesn't have to be, the same reason that you continue, or it can morph. It can, evolve into different reasons. And so Justin and I are super excited that they're here to share their story. You guys know our story, and we'll maybe share a little bit more about it. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Rob and Jessica just so they can share their perspective. Why Plexus? Why work this business? How it started for you guys, and you can just share your quick story.
Hey, first, hold that baby up a little bit further real quick. There she is. Okay, I can only see her little forehead. I haven't seen her in a while. We are so excited to be here. Okay, yeah, our story is different. Our story is before all of this, I was a business major in college. So I had worked in banking. I even worked in ministry for a few years. And then I worked at a university in the admissions office as a recruiter. And so I'd done a bunch of different things in the businessy field. And so when we had our first son, I am so thankful that I got to be home with my son. But I honestly was a little bit bored. Loved being a stay-at-home mom, and he traveled for work a lot. So I felt like I was a single mom. We were just paying the minimums on all of our bills and debt. And I was just looking for a way that I didn't have to be away from our son, but a way to make money and have a fun opportunity for us. And so I had been praying for months for a way to make money from home. I know there's so many creative ideas, so many things on social media, so many ways to make money. And I was just praying, Lord, please provide some way for us to make my goal was $500, just $500 a month. And so I even looked at other network marketing companies, but like she said, I love that everything's on social media. I'm an introvert. So he is not, and he'll tell you all about that in a second. So I looked into other business models for some other network marketing companies even, but I I personally didn't like attending parties or didn't like feeling pressured to buy things or asking people to buy things or having to meet sales quotas. So I never found a good match for us until I had actually we had a couple of people we knew that had posted about Plexus, and they really turned us off. They had posted like really salesy or were just about weight loss. And so I actually was turned off by Plexus until I had a friend who did it differently. And the way that she posted was intriguing and natural and just sharing her story. And she never was like, please buy from me. Like it was never a begging thing. And so it caught my attention. And just a second, we have a 4-year-old that popped in. Go with her for just a second. We put a movie on for her, but she popped back in. That's the beauty of flexibility of this. We get to do it with our family, so we have to be away for a little bit. Where was I? I was talking about. What was I talking about?
Sharing authentically and seeing other friends.
Oh yes, it was my friend Tamra. And so then I saw her post, she was picking out a Lexus. And that's what stopped me in my tracks. Like I kind of wasn't really paying attention to her because I was like, oh, another one of those. But then when I saw her picking out a Lexus, it literally stopped me in my tracks because I had met her at a church event. I knew that she was a good person. She had been to my home before. And I was like, what in the world? Someone that I know is actually successful at one of these things. Like it really, because again, I had all these preconceived notions of what network marketers were. They were sleazy and salesy and not good quality people. And so this really took me off guard. And so I called her. I hadn't talked to her in a really long time. And just from hearing from her, in my mind, I was like, ooh, I bet you she's making $3,000 a month. Like that would change everything for our family, everything. And when I heard from her, and I just straight up asked her, because that's what you can do in this business. It's not like other businesses. But I was looking for a business. And she was making almost $10,000 a month at that time. And so that just was like, oh my word, I've got to look into this. Maybe I've thought everything about this was wrong. And so as I started to study more into it, I learned about the triplex, which again, my salesy friends from before were never posting about that. And that was really targeting gut health, which was a really important topic for our family, something that I had done a lot of research on, where 80% of our immune system starts in the gut. And so I was like, I can stand behind this. I can educate about this. This is something that not just women in their 30s and 40s need. This is men and women, children and adults of all ages. And so that made me so excited because this was something that I could feel so proud to provide, to educate on, because it genuinely will change their health, their life, their well-being. And so that's kind of how it came into our lap, how it started anyways. So it was for sure an answered prayer.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is Plexus is just such a win-win opportunity because the products work, this business works. Because every single person, like it's no one demographic, every single person can benefit. I have babies up to people my grandma's age using the products because we all have a gut, we all need better immune system and immune health. And I think the cool thing is right now, especially right now, people are really hyper focused and aware of their immune systems and what if they can't get to the doctor. And they not only have their health on their mind, but they also have their financial health, just because certain industries have been really affected the past 6 or 8 months. And right now, health and wellness is on people's mind as well as a second income stream. And so, Jessica, did you mention that you were researching ways to make money from home when you?
I literally Googled and I was looking into being a secret shopper, filling out these surveys. Y'all, there were surveys that would take like a half an hour to fill out, and then they were paying you like 70 cents or something. Like it just was not worth the time and the effort. And again, when I looked at other network marketing companies, I saw that so many of them you had to carry, they were very expensive to start. So that was a deterrent for me. Or you had to get certain huge, like hundreds or $1,000 of sales quotas every month in order to be at a certain rank. And I had heard stories of some people, who had gone into debt or had to order so much to meet a quota, and then they never sold it, and so they were stuck with garage fulls of product. And so when I really researched this particular one and found out $100 a month is the minimum, no matter what rank that you are at, and it was $100 to start. I mean, so like I didn't go into debt to try this. And the beautiful thing, my husband, I'm so sorry, he'll be right back in a second, but even I'm a big Dave Ramsey fan, so I actually had never even tried the products before I had joined. I just knew that welcome packs were cheaper than ordering as a customer. And so I was like, well, if it's cheaper, I'm going to go the cheaper route, especially when there was nothing that you were stuck into. Like when I signed up, I did not have to for sure order for the rest of my life. I was just I was feeling it out, but that was important to me. And then my husband, are you coming back, baby? You got to hear how skeptical he was. He was so skeptical. But let me let him talk a little bit about his skepticism about the products and for starting. And then I really want to share what it did for our son too, which was really important to me.
Well, Jessica was like deleting friends on Facebook and was antisocial, introverted. So I was like, the odds of her trying to sell something, and I don't want to bust her out, but she'd also ordered this stuff when we lived in Ohio, some company to sell. And she didn't eat it, much less sell it.
I could
we
not
still have
bring
it in our
myself,
cabinets. We've moved 7 times with this stuff that's still in our cabinets.
I couldn't bring myself to tell anybody about it because I was embarrassed, because it was like a sell thing. It wasn't something that I could offer or educate that could change their life. And so I didn't tell anybody about the other business because I was embarrassed.
What was it? Some kind of food.
Yeah, like spices and stuff.
I mean,
so tell them when I came to you and I said, I really think this is the answer to our prayer financially.
You mean really said I said?
Well, no, I want you to edit it, but I want you to tell them how.
The PG way is I said, heck no, heck no, heck no. That was the PG. And
so I was deflated.
Well, like people avoid you. I mean, instead, hey, come to my meeting, buy my products. I mean, that was my first impression. I was like, why do you think these products are any better? Because we owned a CrossFit, and I got solicited like every day before this about
for
supplements and for also the person I got kind of turned off about Plexus. She was like, I just ordered and tried it. And I was like, what's the benefits? And she can never tell me. So I'm like, why would I overpay for supplements that I could buy? So I was kind of screwed about it. And when Jessica too was like, these are good products. And I'm like, we've had probiotics forever.
Yeah, I was also a probiotic snob. I think that's really important. Like I had really expensive refrigerated probiotics that were probably $75 or so a bottle. But since they were refrigerated, I thought they were ideal. So I would take them, and I would make him take them sometime, but we weren't seeing any physical changes. So that also is very important about what our ProBio 5 does, which I'll tell you about in a second. But anyways, I said, I really think let's do it. And he said no. And so that made me sad, but it also I want to prove him wrong. I really think I'm onto something here. And so I just simply was like, look, I really think that this is something that I can that could work, because I also, I'm such a researcher. I, again, had looked at so many other companies' compensation plans, and I saw how this one was so different and so unique and so generous. Again, without huge sales quotas for yourself. So anyways, and so I said, well, how much do I have to make in order for you to take me serious? And you threw out
$500. That's what I asked you. I asked her to make $500.
So I was doing photography on the side to make $500 a month to bring in to help our family. And so he said $500, and inside I said, game on. And so I really put myself out there. Like I really started to share on social media, was really, really excited, made over $500 my first month. But I think it's also important to note that a lot of my really, really, really good friends thought I was crazy. They thought I was silly. I was so excited. Even before I posted, I had 5 friends in mind that I was like, oh, they'll for sure do this with me. Like I knew they needed it for their health, or a couple of them I knew they needed the finances, and they were my best friends. And so for sure they would do it with me. And they said no. All of them said no. And I think that also is a big difference for our story, is that a lot of people get told no, or when you try something new, like we tried this new, and a lot of people didn't understand. But I just kept, I'm telling you, I had prayed for God to provide. I really felt like this is the answer. And so I was like, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. I got to keep going. So I keep putting myself out there. And I helped a lot of people that I hadn't talked to in a long time, that I never would have talked to face to face. So I'm super thankful for social media. And then after a few months, my friends started coming back on board. They saw me getting a bonus and earning a free trip, and they heard the story. Oh, tell them about Judson, like what it did for our son and what it did for your health.
Like Judson's eczema. Like, we had pretty bad eczema since he was little. Some things would get worse, really bad. And we tried different things in baths and different things.
Lots of ear infections.
Diet, stuff. And he, but that, really changed that. And just, his skin, every once in a while he has little breakouts, but it's not nothing like it ever was. Just, that I have I'd say IBS symptoms. Like I thought I had IBS, but I would carry clothes with me. I knew where every bathroom was at, and I wouldn't eat. I'd fly a lot for work, and I wouldn't eat before I went. And I tried the GAPS diet, and I know what was wrong. Wouldn't just certain food as any kind of food. I had the worst. My stomach was always jacked up. And after a couple of weeks, the triplex, I was pretty normal, which was kind of I would have paid $1,000 a month for that.
To not have to change your clothes.
Yeah, I sit there. And this is one of those things you don't think how bad it is, but your stomach, I think a lot, is having antibiotics for so many years and jacked a lot of stuff up, and it's pretty normal now, which is nice.
Yeah. So we're super, super grateful for those things. And we also no longer have to take seasonal allergy medicine, which is what so many people suffer from.
And X Factor helps me grow nice mustaches like this too.
Oh man,
nice.
Sure.
I'm about to up my dosage. I think so. One of the cool things is and maybe some guys are on here too, but I was the same. I was so skeptical when she first brought Plexus to me. I'm like, no way.
Mostly about the business.
Not the products. I was cool with the products because she was already giving me vitamins and cod liver oil and all sorts of great stuff, so this was just the next thing. But when it came to the business side, I said, no way, I will never, ever do this. But for me, I guess it wasn't because I had a bad experience. It was because I didn't have any knowledge of the industry. So, but once I started to study and once I started to see what the products did, I'm like, well, this is a no-brainer. And now, now here we are 5 years later, still sharing with about everybody we talk to. So it's a pretty amazing opportunity. Also with the IBS, I was the same way. So I worked road construction before Plexus, but I'd have to have toiletries in my truck. So it was awful. So now some people on this, you might think, why is he talking about this? But some people on here are dealing with the same thing. So I'm not afraid to share it. No. It helped when the corn was up. I'll just say that before Plexus, because I had a place to hide. But once harvest hit, I was in trouble because my stomach I was like a slave to my stomach. Just whenever it was ready to move, I had to find somewhere to hide because it was really bad.
It was not even think about it at all. She likes it. You should have no problems.
Well, I don't have any trouble anymore, thankfully. But one thing I want to ask with you guys, so you guys how long have you been in Plexus?
Yeah, just over 6 years. 6, is that right? We have a kind of, up and down story. Like I'd started and then it still took me a while to be on board, even though I was making good money.
It really took the leaders retreat, because that was kind of, in leaders retreat we went, she made me go and I didn't want to go because in my head I thought Motel 6, horrible speakers, bad food. And I was like, I'd already been gone. September I was gone 24 days that month. And And in October, I was like, I'll stay on with Judson. And she's like, no, you got to come. We got there, and it was the Gaylord, and I was like, who's paying for this? Because, the incidentals, I was like, our cars, I think you charge for $400 a night. And but it was the Gaylord. If you guys are in the Gaylord, it's a very nice hotel. And then, man, they had really good food. They had good speakers. And but there was a poolside party for the elite people, and Jessica somehow got that. But I had my guest name tag, I remember, and I got to go because I was her guest. But there was these people all around that were diamonds, and I knew who they were because she watched Diamond Docs in bed every night. And I remember looking around, I was like, these are pretty normal people. Most are blue collar. I mean, there's a couple pretty people and a couple people, I don't know how they make it there. But I remember seeing the normal people. Remember, we said about Sonia Dudley, who she's just like sweet as apple pie and just, talk to us. And I was like, hey, this is possible. Like this kind of in my head is like, this is one of those things is kind of possible. And the wheel started turning, and we had like just a good time. And remember, I dressed up as Richard Simmons at the Halloween party, which is,
How many months in and when I matched your income and then you were able to quit your job?
Well, then the next month she won another trip, a Silver Star trip. And I got to meet Tarl and asked him all kinds of questions. Tarl is the CEO of the company, and he's in his 40s, but he thought, who's this joker? Because I went to another trip with my wife, and we're eating dinner with him. I was asking what books he was reading, asked him about longevity, the company, and he answered everything very well, and that kind of helped me out to know, and just we had a good time there too. But that was going on. You started in June, and by January you matched my income, which was really nice because I resigned in January from gas and oil job, which Justin knows when you kind of get to give that up, it's kind of scary in a way.
Yeah.
You're giving up, kind of your livelihood in the same way, but you're kind of taking a step that, man, I got to be home with my kids. And, like this morning I took Judson to school, and, just me and Rainey hung out today. And, the little things like that I would never have got to do, to be a part. Like tonight I was sitting there thinking one of the things I'm grateful for, we were going over spelling words and his history test and, those things. And you got to be a part of his life, and be present and not be rushed. And then, before the call, we went and played some video games and killed some stuff. And, just you got to be a dad. And that's where, that's the biggest gift from Plexus for me is I get to be present in our lives every day, and just the freedom with that.
Mm-hmm. One thing I was going to ask you mentioned longevity. You were asking Tarl 6 years ago or 5 years ago about the longevity of the company. What do you guys think where Plexus is right now, where they're at on the world stage? What do you think about the longevity of Plexus, where we are right now?
That was another, because we even asked him this years ago. That was super impressive to know that we are a debt-free company, which is huge. And so when you are a corporation or a business that we are, that is this big now, when you're debt-free, you can make some choices and decisions not coming from scarcity or we need this or lack, but out of abundance, which I think is really beautiful and safe for longevity. And other questions we asked is, like how for product wise that they will bring out 1 to 2 new products each year. So there's always something new and always something to bring older people back. Like even when we've joined, it's, we still have people that will join with us again, or they tried the products 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, and things are different today. And so they'll come back around, or they'll realize something else was for them, or they realize that they weren't taking the products properly to begin with, because people see huge results when they're doing it properly. But even worldwide, we have just touched the iceberg of that, which is super exciting. We are only in Canada and Australia and just launched Mexico within this last year. And so every 1 to 2 years, we plan to also go into another market. And they have really positioned themselves. I'm sorry, I'm talking like business, even I'm a business major, so this is important to me. They've really positioned themselves at the home office by hiring high level people who have worked in the top top 5 network marketing companies in the world now work for Plexus in our international fields. And so it takes them years. They're already working on countries. It takes them years in advance to go and develop in that country and find the rules and regulations and the culture. And so they're thinking years ahead of us, which is such a safety net.
I mean, one thing about Taro, like, he's, you know, the CEO of the company. We've got to know him, and the way he positions himself is he wants to do network marketing like nobody's done before, the right way. And I used to like, why are you make questions like, even, you know, not to be able to get the nicest car when you hit the jewel level. He's like, I don't want somebody to get that far in debt. And, you know, little things like that he thinks, you know, I want to do above and beyond the FTC and FBA. I want to follow the rules and guidelines, and you know, for a long time that way. You know, he wants to be a legacy company. Yeah. And even like he has, you know, in his will, the company can never be a public company. You know, that's set up where he's thinking about us, where 50% of profits always go back to us. And even, you know, 6 years into this, we had 2 or 3 of our best months we've ever had in the company in the middle of COVID this year. And you know, that blows my mind. But, you know, still, because people's like, hey, are you doing okay? And I was like, yeah, we're doing great. And, but that, you know, just the way the opportunity comes, because Plexus is one of those things that, you know, you can keep growing and growing. There's no cap on it. Where a lot of people have been in different businesses or different network market where they cap you, get a top level and you can't keep going. But Plexus, you know, you guys know this, you know, you can hit diamond and re-entry again and sit there and just, you know, there's no limit, which is pretty amazing just to watch people come in and grow. And even like, you know, the guys from Mexico came in, you know, 3 or 4 months, came in, well, you know, just watching. And that's where I was like, we can never judge a hungry person, you know, wants to come and work. And, you know, there's always that opportunity just to come in, and because people's like, oh, you know, there's always this, you know, Plexus is even, you know, the one where I was saturated, but the town we came out of, it was like 25,000 people. And I think I counted the other day, there was 10 jewels that had,
there's more than that.
I mean, in that, like 6 diamonds that have roots, you know, at one time.
That's the beauty of social media, like how we were all connected all over. I just never would have talked to the people face to face who are on my team now. Like, I just never would have, but they saw my posts and they saw that it was something that could help them too. And I might add, they provided some pretty stinking cool vacations for us too. And that's my love language is travel. So we get to go to Hawaii with the Gobs and many other people on this call every year. And it's just such a gift. It's a ton of fun. Way more than we ever expected.
Yes, and guys, thanks so much for sharing your perspective. And I think it's just so interesting even to hear more of a business perspective, because I remember when I started, I was like, well, I'm not Jessica Hefley. I didn't have a business degree. I'm not thinking in that way. I'm thinking, how do I help more people get healthy? And I remember listening to you share, because I just had a mental block that I couldn't get past until you kind of shed the light on the fact that the world runs on business, and we pay every other service person in our life, whether it's our hairdresser or our dog groomer or the lawn person. And so why have such shame about helping people with their health and wellness and growing wellness businesses, right? No shame there. It's a blessing to people. And I remember Justin telling me, he's like, the people that are rocking it are the people that are sharing the opportunity, because you have the opportunity to build a life. And we're living it. We're living proof of that. Rob and Jessica are living proof of that. And many people on this call are also living proof and on their way to having that. So it's encouraging. And I think also the fact that just in light of the business that you can re-enter. So there is literally no cap. The fact that spouses can join, a lot of network marketing companies don't allow spouses to join. So you literally can double dip, multiple times, because you can continue to re-enter. The fact that we have products that are consumable, and also that we don't have to stock inventory, and that we have the blessing of social media. So just like Jessica said, I have a big family, and a lot of people assume that I have our little tiny town signed up and my family. And I'll just say that there's a lot of people in our town that want nothing to do with Plexus or don't know about it yet. And same with my family. There's a handful of people, but a lot of my family, they're like this so far.
We never talk about Plexus with them.
But,
so it's really
it should be encouraging. It should be encouraging, because you can build a massive team outside of your close circle of friends and family.
I did, though, get a double shipment of lean protein shakes. So I already told them, I said, just if you get some Plexus products for Christmas from the boss, don't be surprised.
Oh, there, you gotta come. Yeah.
I'll just say something really. Out of all the people in Plexus, I mean, this is honest truth. Like, you guys are the best team, best people. Like, we talk about how, we talk about you guys, how you guys raise your kids, how you lead your life, how you lead your business. And I mean, even like this last week, I wish I could been the father-son thing, but I was at another event. It's one of those things I want to bring Judson to. And you guys, like, we've been, we took our RV to their house, parked in the driveway, and the guys stayed at our house. And it's a great friendship, but I feel like, you guys, you do things the right way. And that's the kind of people, I feel like when you have people like that, it doesn't matter if you live in Oakland, a town of 300, because people want to be a part of people that are doing things right and see success. Because I've never seen a successful person talk bad about, somebody else that's working hard and trying. I swear. And I have these really good memories with Justin, because one night, like I said, we were at the Gaylord in DC, and he's like, "This is a sham." He's like, "Tell me the truth." Like, he was wanting me to tell him it was. I'm like, "No, man, this is like the best thing ever." Like, I was like, sit there. I was like, what it's done for us and our family. But even, I remember going to Champaign and sitting with you, in your truck and talking. It's eating dinner. You're still working full time, man. Just to see where you guys have grown, too. The Diamond couple, and still keeping your values and living with your family, and just man, it's in your new house, so I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
And we go up there, and that's a huge, to my heart, which makes our team, which I love seeing our our friends be successful and people in our team. Just you guys are doing that well.
Well, thank you very much. And the new house, thanks to Plexus and this business, we've been able to build this new house, which is awesome. So when you guys come, you don't have to sleep in the driveway this time. We have room for you.
You have a slide? Have I seen the slide?
Yeah, there's a slide. Everything. Sauna, slide.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Well, we're going to wrap it up, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being on. And I just want to
awesome.
encourage you guys, everyone that's on the call, and maybe if you're someone that's listening, that's considering this opportunity, is we're not done helping people. And so we're in this for a long time, as long as the Lord gives us this opportunity to bless other people. And I would just encourage you to think about what you want to create. I remember from the very first little goal that we set was to get our products covered. And after that happened, and we saw, like, okay, there's other Joe Schmoes, normal people doing this, working this opportunity. What if we could pay off the house? So we paid off our tiny farmhouse 9 months in, and then we bought a vehicle, and because we had another baby, right? And so we just kept resetting the goal. And
then I came home from road construction, and then now if I shared my goals on here, you guys would think we are out of our mind. They're so big, it's ridiculous. So it's such a great opportunity. And just to think that I was a skeptic at one time.
It's okay to be skeptical.
It is. It's good. You ask good questions when you're skeptical.
All of us were.
Yeah.
Exactly. But when you find out the actual information and then you realize it's a no-brainer.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So if you're interested in game for getting started, guys, if you're listening to this, we have a special going. It's only $9.95 right now to get started, instead of the normal $40, which regardless is crazy insane for starting your own business. I mean, to launch a business, like a brick and mortar business, would be thousands and 10,000, hundred thousands of dollars to do. So what an opportunity. Rob and Jessica, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for inspiring so many. We love y'all. Bye-bye.
See ya.